So in this video, we're going to talk about finding your passion. But before we dive into finding your passion, there are three necessary questions that you need to ask yourself before you even decide to dive in with me into this episode. So the first question is career important to you? Because you maybe want to find your passion, but it's not necessarily to change your job. It's just because you don't know what your hobbies are. And that's a valid question. The second question is, do you want to be your own boss, or do you want to integrate yourself into a company and be under somebody else? And number three, do you prefer to do what you love for less money or do what you hate for more? So in this point, I would ask you to stop the video and answer those questions, because those are really important. Because majority of this episode will concentrate on finding your passion as a career. Now, if your answer was that you're not really looking to develop your career, but you're just looking for a hobby, this is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. And I think it even takes out the pressure from finding the thing that you love and trying to answer the question of how you're going to monetize it, because you don't need to monetize it. So I would just recommend to just pay attention to what you love doing and do it and enjoy it. There is nothing wrong with that. And if you don't know what your passion is and you don't know what your hobby is, just try everything you possibly can until you find the one thing that just ignites you. Go dancing, go skiing, go sewing, take cooking classes, take acting classes, take singing classes, do whatever you want to do until you find that thing that instead of watching TV, you're going to be thinking, I want to do that. And that's your passion. Now, if you answer that career is important to you and you're looking to do something that is your passion and monetize it and make it your business, make it your thing, you're in the right place, because in this video, we're going to explore exactly that. So take a pen, take a pencil, and let's dive in. Now, before we start, I just want to say that many people in the world believe that job and hobbies are two separate things. You go to work, you make your money, you blah, 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 and you come home and you save all this money you made from your miserable job and you spend it on the thing you love. And many people live their lives like that. So many people wake up every morning, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and they're like, I hate this job. I'm going to be going to this job, this terrible job, or I hate. You don't need to live like that. And I think the reason that you're watching this video is because you understand that you don't need to live like that anymore. Now, with the help of the internet and social media and all these like free certificates you can take online, people are actually understanding now that they can make a lot of money doing what they love. Monetize their hobbies, monetize their passions. It is possible. It's a harder path. You need to know that it's a harder path. It's not as simple as it sounds. It takes a lot of energy. But you're here, so we're going to do it together. Now, number one, the first question you need to ask yourself. Let's reset everything. First question. If it wasn't for the money, what would you be doing every day? This is your number one question. If you have an answer to this question, great. If you don't, you can sit a little bit with it. You can pause the video, you can write it on your notebook and answer it later. But you need to ask yourself what you would be doing if money was not the motivator. If you did not need to make money, pay rent, pay utilities and all that, how would you be spending your day? Would you be traveling? Would you be writing? Would you be taking photos or cooking? Or what is that? Saving people, helping people, working with animals? What is it? What do you love doing? If you don't have an answer to this question, don't worry, because the rest of the questions I'm going to be asking are going to lead you a little bit more towards the answer. But you're going to need to answer all of them. So pay attention. Question number two is how your hobby helps the world, helps people. What is it that you can do that provides for others, right? Because if we think about it, if you love taking photos, you can photograph people or do projects or do things like that, but this is somehow helps people. If you love cooking and you want to open a catering business, that also helps people. If you want to work with animals and you go to shelters, whatever it is that you decide to do, it needs to serve somebody else in order for it to actually make sense for you as a business. So now you have two questions that you need to answer. What it is that you love doing and would be doing if money wasn't the issue, and how is this thing gonna help other people? Basically, there is a very simple formula to how to make a successful business. And this formula is find the need and fill it, right? So you need to find what is missing right now that you can provide, whether it's photography or helping people or singing at weddings or cleaning houses or opening a store or a barber shop, something that people need. right? And this question can really lead me into making another episode of how to develop this formula and how to really make a business that will thrive and succeed. But we're not here now. Now we're just figuring out your passion. So answer these two questions, because the third one is what makes you unique. Now, obviously, most of the things that you thought about already exist in the world, right? We have teachers, we have photographers, we have delis and barbershops and catering companies and cleaning companies. We have, everything. Everything we can possibly imagine, unless you're thinking of developing an app that does not exist, which is a great idea if you can do that. There's a lot of money in that. But why is the third question so important? Because you need to eventually stand out from your competition, right? You need to not only provide a service that you're good at, but to also do it in your unique way, in a way that only you can do. It's actually easier than it sounds, because we all are unique in our own way. So the way that I'm recording this video and providing you information you can find somewhere else, it's my way of delivering it. And some people will love it and some people will not. Some people will find it unique and some people will say, oh, this is bullshit. And that's fine. But that's my unique way of delivering you the information. So let's go back for a second. So the first thing you do is that you answer, what would you be doing if it wasn't for the money? The second thing you're doing is asking yourself how this thing can actually help other people. And now you need to figure out what is unique about you that you can provide in a way that other people can't. Maybe you have a unique idea or a unique way of doing a certain thing that can speak directly to a certain group of people. By the way, if you don't know how to answer the first and the second question, and you're now here stuck with me on the question of what is unique about me, I don't know, I would recommend go to your friends and family, because this question can also help you determine what kind of business you can open, because sometimes we have uniquenesses that we don't know about. So if you go to your friends and family and you ask them, what am I good at? And your friends and family might tell you, oh, you give the best advice, or you make the best freaking Friday dinners ever. You're the best chef in the group. Or maybe your friends will tell you, you have an amazing voice, or you write uniquely, or you cut everyone's hair and it's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes your friends and family can see something in you that you might be missing. So ask them, and it might help you, because if they tell you that you make the best pasta and you're thinking about it and you're like, you know what? That can be a cool thing. Maybe I should start cooking more. Maybe I should open a catering business, or maybe I should go work in a restaurant because I really enjoy it and I never really thought about it as a career. But now when I'm thinking about it, this is the thing that I enjoy doing the most. Now, when you determined what it is that you want to be doing, there is a really crucial step that you need to think about, because sometimes we get lit on an idea, but we're not really willing to commit, and we don't think what it takes to actually get there. Because if you decided that you want that path, for example, let's take the catering business. You want to open a catering business. You need to think of the practical steps and what it will take for you to make that happen in order to understand whether you're willing to commit or not. Because if you're not willing to commit, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you thought about it for a second and it seemed great, and maybe you love doing it once a week for your friends, but you're not really willing to take it further. Because in order for that to happen, you're going to need to either go work in a restaurant, which means that maybe you need to sharpen up your skills. Maybe you need to go take some cooking courses, cooking classes. Maybe you need to practice more. Maybe you need to get certain certificates when it comes to opening your own food business. You need to get a health certificate, or I don't know how the catering business works, but you need to take the extra steps. And here you need to ask yourself whether you're willing to make the effort in order to make that happen. And while you're on that topic, you need to kind of decide whether you want to open your own business or you want to go work for somebody else. My personal recommendation when starting something completely new is to go and work for somebody else for a little while and to see how this business works. Go work at a restaurant. Go work at a barbershop. Go work with a photography company. Go see how other people are doing that. Go learn from them. Sometimes instead of investing money in certificates and go to university and take courses that are very, very expensive, you can learn by doing that, and it doesn't require you to open your own company. And this is a very smart way to start, because you can shift what you're doing now into what you love doing, but it doesn't require you to take the risk of opening a business. Because opening, for example, a restaurant, when you have no idea how to run a restaurant, you never done it before, you don't know what you're doing, it's probably not the best idea. So maybe it's better to go and work for somebody else for a while and to see how they're running their business and to learn and to soak in all the information, and then you'll be ready to open your own. If you're still with me on that one, let's dive into the next step, because if you decided that you're actually willing to put the effort, that you want to do it, you found your passion, you found your monetizable hobby, let's answer this next question. Does that fall into your lifestyle dream? And that's an important one, because when deciding on your passion and to take this new direction in your life, you need to consider whether it falls into your dream life. And let me give you an example. If you decided you want to open a restaurant, let's say that, for example, but your lifestyle is one that you see yourself traveling the world and not really staying in one place, whatever this dream is that you have. So maybe opening a restaurant will not exactly work with that. See what I'm saying? Like if you want to travel the world, but you have a business, you have a restaurant, and especially a business like a restaurant, like you need to be there all the time. You need to constantly, as a business owner, you constantly need to be on top of that. So yeah, you might get to a point where you get to travel, where you get home at 5 p.m. every day because you have a manager and you have your staff and you trust everyone and the business is running smoothly. But it's going to take a really, really long time until you get there. Are you willing to put the effort? But this is also an important question when you're thinking about it, because if your lifestyle is traveling the world, shooting videos, shooting photos, doing content, and trying all these different things, not really being tied into one place, maybe you should take that as a career perspective. Maybe you should think, how do I fit this lifestyle into what I love doing? For me, for example, I love traveling. I love visiting other countries and learning about new cultures and try different foods and photographing and making videos and doing all these things. But the career that I'm going for, the career that I'm doing right now, is aligned with that, because most of my work is happening from home, which is very movable. If I'm right now home in Israel, I can shoot a vlog. I can do that. That's not a problem. I can record a song. I can find clients for photography. I can do all that. So what I am doing right now is very much aligned with the lifestyle I want to have. I'm not the kind of person to be tied into one place. I know that I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit in the office all day, because that's just not who I am. So I'm not trying to build a career that requires me to sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. And that helped me decide what I want to do. And that helps me manage my life. So you need to think about it, whether what you're trying to monetize, the hobby that you're going for, the passion, whether it's aligned with how you see yourself in 5-10 years, and see how you can match it. Because it is possible. It is. If you want to travel the world doing catering in different parts of the world, I mean, it's possible. It's just going to take a little bit more time, and you're going to need to come up with a plan. You need to really think about that. But it is possible. But it's something you need to take into consideration when thinking about these things. Now, the last question I need to ask you, which is a really crucial one, because you really need to think about it. But let's go back to the beginning and talk about money. Because money is so crucial and it's so important in today's economy so we can live. It's very important. But it can't be your only motivator. If you chose a career that is based solely on the potential income because you want to live a comfortable life and you're thinking, okay, I think that I can do that, and it seems like people are willing to pay a lot of money for it, so maybe that's what I'm going to do. That's a very hard path to take, because if you're only motivated by money, you're probably going to give up before you actually see that money, because starting something different, building your own business, going into a different field, it's going to take time to build it. It's hard work. And you're going to see less money in the beginning because you're still building. So if money is your only motivator to why you decided to do whatever you decided to do, not really the best idea. But money is important, so you do need to be realistic with what you're building. If you decided to change to a different field, research. Think about how much money you can make through that business, through that field, whether you're going to work in a barbershop or opening your own barbershop, or deciding to go to people's houses and not opening an establishment, but do it in people's houses. Think about the potential income of that business. Are you happy with that? It's important, because you don't want to find yourself in 10 years that you're doing your barber business and you're thinking, it's not enough money. I'm not making enough money. And you're disappointed, because you need to match whatever it is that you want to do with how you see your lifestyle. And be honest with yourself. If your lifestyle that you're seeing is a very rich one, then you need to think whether your passion will make it happen. And again, It's possible, but it takes time and it requires work. If all you care about is making money, it's going to be a little harder because it takes time. And I know it all sounds confusing because it is hard. It's hard to shift into something you've been doing so far, to start doing something that you love and to make money out of it. It's really hard. And you need to find the balance and the moderation to how to do it properly. And like I said, you need to answer all these questions to really understand if you're aligned with the passion that you're going for. Because sometimes we think we want to do something, we start really diving deep into it, and then we see that we're not really enjoying the process of diving deep into it, and it's not really that interesting, so maybe that's not for us. Or maybe we start diving deeper and we understand how amazing it is and we're enjoying it so much. And yes, it's tough, money's hard, it's going to take a little time to develop it further, but because you care about it and because you really enjoy the process, you're going to get there. Because you're going to constantly want to develop this business. You're going to constantly think, oh my God, how can I make it better? How can I give people more? How can I do more? How can I learn more? That's what's going to drive your business further. Not the idea of like, I need to make more money. How can I, because that's not the right motivator when thinking about passion. If all you care about is money, then maybe you should start investing more, maybe learn about the stock market, maybe, go to these places. And if you care about it, if that's your passion, that's amazing. There are some passions there that are really expensive. Like I said, if you want to build an app, if you know how to build an app, if you know how to work with AI in a certain way that can bring you a lot of money, there are things that you can do that combine passion and a bunch of money. There are certain passions that will take a little bit more time to get to the point that you're making a lot of money. And maybe money is not even your motivator. Maybe you just want to be comfortable. Maybe you don't want this crazy rich life and you just want to do what you love. And that's fine. Anything you decide is fine. And I hope that you can answer all these questions and really find what it is that you want to do, that you would be doing if money wasn't a thing, that can actually help people and provide and give something to others, feel the need, right? And what is your uniqueness? What is it that you're doing so specially and so uniquely and enjoying it can actually monetize it? Answer those questions and let me know in the comments if you actually found your passion through those points. That's how I find mine.